Hi ChatterFoxes! Do you want to sound more fluent when you speak American English? One of the ways to do that is by using intonation. We all need to ask questions sometimes, and intonation is super important when you're asking questions in American English. So in this video, you're going to learn how to use intonation to sound even better than a native when you're asking questions in American English. Before we get started, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any of our American English pronunciation videos. Now we're ready to get started. There are two types of intonation in English. One is rising and the other is falling. Rising is when the tone and the pitch of your voice go up, and falling is when they go down. For example, I'm going to ask two different questions and see if you can hear which one has rising and which one has falling intonation. The first question is, do you want to go to the gym? Do you want to go to the gym? And the second question is, how was the gym? How was the gym? Could you hear the difference? When I asked, do you want to go to the gym? The intonation went up at the end of the question. But when I asked, how was the gym? The intonation went down. The reason for this is because when you ask yes or no questions in English, meaning questions that you can answer with a yes or a no, your intonation should go up at the end of the question. But when you're asking open-ended questions, meaning questions that you answer with something that's not yes or no, your intonation should go down. So we're going to practice some more examples. The first time I say the example, I'll say it in a very exaggerated way. Then we'll say it 2 or 3 more times, and I want you to say all of these with me to give you practice in using intonation to ask questions fluently in English. So the first example is, do you want to go out for dinner? 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 And now, where do you want to go for dinner? 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 Were you able to say each of those questions with the rising or falling intonation? Great. Now let's try another example. Are you busy this weekend? That is a yes or no question, so say it with me with rising intonation. Are you busy this weekend? Are you busy this weekend? Are you busy this weekend? And now a question with falling intonation. What are you up to this weekend? What are you up to this weekend? What are you up to this weekend? Great. And another example. Is it cold outside? Is it cold outside? Is it cold outside? Did you notice the rising intonation in that question? And now a similar question that's open-ended. So in this one, we will have falling intonation. How cold is it outside? How cold is it outside? How cold is it outside? Great. And the final example is a super common question in English to ask about someone's job. To ask what someone's job is, you can say, so what do you do? This is an open-ended question, meaning that the intonation will go down at the end. So what do you do? So what do you do? A similar question would be to ask, so do you work in the city? So, do you work in the city? So, do you work in the city? Could you hear the difference? Great. So now that you know how to use intonation to ask questions fluently in English, I have a question for you. This question, so what do, is a very common question, but some people think that it's rude to ask this question in some situations. The reason for this is that some people believe if you ask about someone's job too soon, that you're implying that their job is the most important thing about them. Other people think that this question, what do, is perfectly okay and just a normal question to ask to get to know someone. So now I want to know what you think. Do you think it's okay to ask someone, so what do? Or is this question a little bit too personal and rude in some situations? Tell us your opinion in the comments section below. Can't wait to hear from you. Great job. Now you're already on your way to speaking English better than a native. But you know what's even more important than using these American expressions? Using correct pronunciation. So visit us at the link in the description to check out our fluency program and subscribe to our channel to start speaking better than a native today.